Wander Wealthy Podcast, episode 121. Hello, babes. Welcome to the Wander Wealthy Podcast. My name, if you have not met me before, is Tess. I am the host of this podcast, and Wander Wealthy is really a place for online coaches who are trying to level up their business, and they want a little bit more knowledge in the money realm, whether it's from a practical, financial, business strategy, systems, or personal finance angle, or it's from the money mindset angle. So here we love to talk about all the different angles to improve your relationship with money and realize that making and managing money can be easy. It does not have to be hard. Today on the show, we are going to talk about why you absolutely need to take a paycheck from your business. I have notes here, so I'm going to be referencing those. Please don't mind if I look down if you are tuning in live. And by the way, if you are listening to the podcast recording on one of your favorite apps, do know that you can actually tune in to the solo shows, which I do every other week live. And you can even ask your questions there. I will answer them. We do these inside of my Facebook group called The Wealthy Entrepreneur. If you want to get inside, you can just go to wanderwealthy.com/TWE group, short for The Wealthy Entrepreneur, and then add the word group on the end to get in. I just ask you a couple questions before accepting it's not an application, but accepting your interest, I guess. Or you can just go to Facebook and search for The Wealthy Entrepreneur, and I will make an announcement when I plan to go live for the live podcast recording. You get early access to those recordings. Even if you can't make it live, you still can access it before the podcast goes live officially for all people and all platforms on Thursday. And just to give you an idea, today is Tuesday that I am recording it. So those who are in the Wealthy Entrepreneur group get to tune in live, and it is super fun because you get that early access. You can ask your questions right then and there, and we get to chat face to face in a way, at least my face looking at you, smiling and giving you all the good vibes. So like I said, today's topic is going to be talking about why you need to pay yourself. This is so important to me. I'm sure I've touched on this many times throughout other episodes of the podcast, but we're really going to dive into both practical and kind of more woo-woo manifesting perspective to answer the question, why do you need to pay yourself? Because for me, there's a huge core push to the idea of what a business really is and how a business should function and why you need to pay yourself in that regard. But also this idea of living out your life and being the business owner from the be, do, have model, which is more of a manifesting model, if you will, but it really does break it down in a way that I think even if you are kind of a money mindset manifester skeptic, it's really going to make sense why you want to live with this model in your life. So we're going to touch on both of those. Now, before we dive into the nitty gritty, I do want to say and make the announcement on the podcast that my payday parties are open for registration. So my payday party is something I'm super excited about, and it's not my payday party, it's our payday party if you come join us in this week-long workshop. So what this is it's a week-long workshop. It starts next week on August 26th, so you can get in by the 25th, and then the doors will close because we're going to get going on the 26th. We will have 4 live classes. They'll happen Monday, Wednesday, Thursday of the week of August 26th, and then the following Tuesday because it's Labor Day on the following Monday. But we're going to cover 4 live classes covering money mindset and understanding and uncovering some money stories that might be sabotaging your success in the idea that you can make, save, invest, and spend money without feeling guilt or without feeling held back from the ability. And you can see that that can actually be quite easy to make, spend, save, invest your money. We're also going to dive into understanding your purpose-driven revenue goals. This is something I give away for free to people who download the Easy Profit Roadmap, but we really take it like 7 steps further. I was going to say a step, but it's really like 7 good steps further where we get super specific about what it is you need from your business as the entrepreneur and the main employee of your business. And we dive into breaking down your goals into 3 big major tiers, which allows you to identify where you're at now, how you've probably already reached some of your goals, and then pick up on that momentum to reach for the additional goals that are just, within reach and then beyond your reach, and see that. So I call it the need, want, and desire tiers of goal setting. And that's really, really important when it comes to you pursuing your money goals or any other goal that you might have. So we get really specific in the numbers, and I share even further why your brain needs specificity in order to be the go-getter of your goals. And then we dive into more classes and practical implementation of how you can set up a money system that allows you to make money easily, but also be profitable and build a healthy, sustainable business while also paying yourself on a regular basis. And I share with you rhythms and routines that you can start implementing into your business, into your schedule, so you can actually create this super healthy, juicy business that's going to grow sustainably and healthily with you, instead of kind of leaving you in the dust, broke and poor, because you didn't put a system in place that pays you, that is profitable, and that keeps your business running sustainably. So we do that in these payday parties. And the reason I call it my payday party workshop is because it really teaches you how to develop your very own payday party. And technically, what a payday party is for me is it's something that I do 2 times per month. It is part of my rhythm and routine that keeps my business going. And it is so fun and so expansive and comes from such an abundant place. And I absolutely love it when it is the 10th or the 25th of the month, which are the days that my payday parties take place. You can pick your own, but those are great ones if you want to replicate them. When it is on those days, I get so excited, and I have quite literally a little party, because I know that I'm going to pay myself. I know I'm going to send some money to my profit account, and I'm going to do all those other good things. Make sure my bills are getting paid, but pay those bills with the mindset of abundance instead of the mindset of, oh, I can't believe I have to pay this bill again. So if you want to come at your money from that angle, from a place of abundance, from a reworked money mindset, even just identifying what's been holding you back so you can reprogram your brain to start thinking more abundantly about some things that maybe you haven't felt abundantly about before, you will then start actively manifesting more money, more abundance, more financial freedom into your life. And from a practical standpoint, you'll have a rhythm and a routine and a system that you can implement within your business and really feel that money can be fun. It can be easy. It can really feel freeing to actually sit down and manage the money in your business to make better decisions for your business and for your personal life. So if you want to be a part of the payday party, you can go to wanderwealthy.com/party. I'm also linking it in the description of this live video. If you're on the video and watching the recording or watching us live here, you can click the link in the description. Or if you're listening to the podcast, go ahead and open the description or info box of this podcast episode, and you can click there. Or of course, you can always hit up the show notes too at wanderwealthypodcast.com. Okay, let's dive into today's topic. It's going to be 1 part inspirational. That's the guidance for me. And 1 part kind of hard truths, and really just laying it out there. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with the hard truths first, because we want to digest that, and then we want to get motivated and inspired to go for what we've been wanting to go for. So again, the topic of today's show is why you need to take a paycheck from your business, or why your business needs to pay you on a regular basis. And the first thing I think we need to define is, what is a paycheck? And for many people, that's going to mean different things. For me, and when I do my wealth and mindset coaching with my clients, what a paycheck means is you are taking money out of your business on a specified date, typically, twice a month, or maybe for you it's only once a month, or maybe it's once a week, but it is on a specified date. You have a routine set in place where you're taking money out of your business to pay yourself. And it might not be the same amount every single time, because entrepreneurship is weird like that, especially when you're running an online coaching business, but it is an amount, and it generally has a bottom, meaning you know what your heck no number is, and if it goes below that, you're gonna have to need to get things into gear to get yourself beyond that number again, because that's really what you need your business to cover for you. And if it's not covering that, that's a really good assessment to go, okay, something needs to change here, or I'm going to have to start picking up side income because I need money in my personal life to cover my own personal costs. So a paycheck is something that you're getting on a regular basis. You have a routine built within your business, and you're pulling that money, transferring it from your business bank account to your personal checking, and then on to savings accounts or investments or whatever you end up doing with that money. But it's happening regularly. You know when it's going to happen. You can expect it, and you are actually transferring that money at a regular pace. Now, the contrary to that, the contrast is, and a lot of people do this, and no shame if you do this, honestly, because so many of us, especially when we're just starting out, and even people who have been in business for years, just get used to doing it this way, which is really what I call survival mode, is we let our business, we keep our money in our business thinking our business needs all this money to survive. So when I need money in my personal life to pay my rent or to pay my utility bill or to pay for life insurance or something random, but a bill comes up and you're like, oh crap, I need to pay for this. You basically go to your business bank account, take a draw. So you withdraw the amount of money, maybe you transfer it from the account to your personal checking, but it's basically just the amount of money that you think is like the minimum you need in order to get by with some of the bills that are coming up. That to me is not a paycheck. It is not a regular set amount. And that set amount doesn't have to be like $1,000. It can also just be like 20 or 30 or 50% of your income over the past month. But for you, it's really just, I need the $111 to pay for my term life insurance policy that came due that I only pay once a year and I totally forgot about. So I'm going to go to my business and pull that $111 out. And so on and so forth. Any bill that you can think of. Or maybe you just want to go on a shopping spree. So you go shopping, you put it on a credit card, and then you're like, I need to pay for this. I need to pay off the credit card. So I'm going to go to the business, pull the money out that I need to put on the credit card. And what's happening here, and the reason why, first of all, this is not a paycheck, is because you can't budget this. And although if you are doing a regular paycheck, but it is fluctuating, it's harder to budget, you can still budget that money because you know how much you are expecting to receive, even if it's just a couple days from now. And then you can take that money and make a plan for it going forward. Whereas when you're working in this proactive model of, okay, the bill is coming due, or I put this stuff on my credit card and now I need to pay it off, that's just, you're working with basically tomorrow's money. You're like borrowing from tomorrow or from next month or from, God forbid, next year. And that's not a good place to be in. That is not an abundant place to be in. This is really the survival method of quote unquote, because it's not really taking a paycheck from your business. You're quite literally just taking draws when you need it, and that is not a good place to run your business from. But so many of us get caught in this trap, and this is why. First and foremost, most of us started our business without the intention of making it a business. A lot of people are accidental entrepreneurs. And so if that is you, you're probably not really thinking about how to implement some sort of system that will allow you to take a paycheck so that you can sustain your personal lifestyle. So that's one reason why, it can be businesses in general, even if they're 3, 5, 10 years down the line, are lacking some sort of, specifically in the finance area, some sort of system or process that they follow. On top of that, a lot of people think, okay, I've hired a bookkeeper and I've hired an accountant, and that's good enough. I don't need to worry about creating or implementing a system where I pay myself a certain set amount. They take care of things from the taxes side. They make sure I have enough money. I don't need to worry about that. And that is really not a good place to be in, especially as the business owner, as probably a person who wears many hats and is the CEO, the CMO for marketing, and the CFO. And even though you have people who are doing the taxes and doing the bookkeeping, you are still the very last person who says yes or no on the decisions of what sort of investments you're going to make, or what sort of clients you're going to take on, or what sort of sales you're willing to create for your business. And that, at the end of the day, boils down to money. And with money, you are making those decisions, and that goes back to the bookkeeper and the accountant. So the bookkeeper and accountant, they are, they might not be quote unquote employees of your business, but at the end of the day, they report back to you as the CFO of your business, because you are making those key decisions. They're not. They might help advise you in certain ways, but they're not helping you implement the processes and the systems you really need to run your successful business, and at the very least, take a regular paycheck from your business. So when we're just pulling out draws, another reason we might be doing this is we started our business as a side hustle. And again, it might not be the accidental entrepreneur route, but maybe it's, you start your business as a side hustle, and you have a partner, or you have your parents, or you have your full-time job that is supporting your personal expenses. So you don't really need to worry about covering your personal costs, because you have something else that's covering that. So your business is really just whatever it makes, it can spend. The problem is when your business starts really picking up and you're trying to figure out how to transition from full-time job to full-time self-employed and make your side hustle your full-time hustle, that can get really difficult. And people still stay in the same process and rhythm that they've had before that has been working thus far, which is, when I need money, I'll take it out of my business, but they don't see the value or the reason why they would implement some sort of system that would allow them to take a paycheck. In a lot of ways, because they think their business needs all the money that it has on hand. And that is so far from the truth. And we're going to talk about that a little later. But this is very, very common for people who are just starting out, and they really feel, especially in the early years, their business needs all that money. And maybe it does to get started because you haven't made any money yet, but you have to spend money. So when you start making money, you need to repay yourself for investing in the business, but then you don't really think about what constitute as a paycheck to yourself. And so you never really quite implement the system. And I'll be honest here, implementing the system can be hard. And that's another reason why people don't, get to a place where they're regularly taking a paycheck. They feel overwhelmed by implementing a system. They feel like they can't quite get caught up in order to kind of zero out where they are. So maybe they have some credit card debt that they're still paying off. So any extra money they're putting towards the credit card debt. So they can't commit to paying themselves because they feel like they owe it to the credit card debt. Or maybe they have bills that they know are coming up, so they just need to commit to saving for those bills instead of taking a paycheck. There are so many reasons why it can be very complicated. And that's why a lot of people won't implement, even though they know what I'm doing right now is not sustainable, taking just random draws. I really do need to implement this, but I don't know how to get started. And that, my friends, is where the payday parties come in. But also, if you really need some extra hand-holding, or you want to skip over the payday parties, you can do one-on-one coaching with me, and I can help you implement that system. And we can work on all the other things so you can realize that making and managing your money can be easy, and you don't have to wait. There is never a wrong time. There is never a time that is too early to start taking a paycheck from your business. And if you take anything away from this podcast episode, it is that. I hope it is that it's never too early. It's never too soon to start paying yourself from the business that you, my rock star, are building, right? That's just crazy that so many people go years and years without paying themselves a regular salary. And even if they take draws, they're taking draws out of this scarcity survival mode mentality and not really seeing the abundance that building a business can really create for them. Even if you have a small business, and honey, I've been there. I've been struggling. I've gone through, lower months, and I felt really not great about, okay, this month I'm making significantly less than I was going to make, or was planning to make, or that I made last month, or that I'm going to make in 3 months from now. But I still stay committed to taking that paycheck because my business can survive without that money that is deserving, in my opinion, I deserve deserving for me. So there's never a wrong time. You're never too late, and you're never too soon. The best time was, last year or 5 years ago, but the second best time is today. So if you can get started, do the very least right now. Like, take the easiest, smallest, low-hanging fruit step, which is understanding, how much do I need? And we do this in the Payday Party. We really dive into it. And then you can start building it out from there. And like I said, in the Payday Party, we really step through how you can get to the point where you're covering your costs in a regular paycheck from your business. And then you can start striving for some of those bigger goals that you're really focusing on, because you no longer have to worry or stress about, how am I going to cover some of these costs that, I put on the credit card this month because I haven't been paying myself a regular paycheck. So I have nothing to base a personal life budget on. And that's just what happens for a lot of people, is they get themselves into this really messy, unorganized space because their business doesn't have something regulated and systemized for them, and therefore they are unable to create systems and regular cash flow or budgets. And if you don't like the word budget, that's cool, but creating an abundant spending plan for them that they can live within the means of. And I will be the first to tell you, once you start tweaking and correcting one thing, it's like a ripple effect on down. So any personal goals that you haven't been able to accomplish, we can likely fix that just from tweaking and starting the process from your business. So the next thing, that was a long spiel about the difference between a paycheck and not taking a paycheck, but I do think it is so important to understand the differences there, because there are big, massive differences, but so many people think like, well, I am taking a paycheck. And it's like, no, honey, a random $500 withdrawal from your business bank account is not a paycheck if you did not plan for it to happen. So the other thing I want to mention, because if we're not even quite there yet, we need to talk about the difference and the biggest key indicator between a business and a hobby. And I'm not going to beat this horse to death, because I'm guessing if you're tuning in to the show, you have a pretty good understanding of the difference between a hobby and a business. And you've probably faced that fact in the past. You realized that businesses make money, hobbies generally do not. And in businesses, there is typically a value exchange. So you might be spending money on things, but the idea is that the things that you spend money on are spent with the intention that they will help you make more money. Whereas a hobby is spending money because it's fun for you. And, there are definitely things that are hobby businesses. They might look good. They might sound good. They might be, feel good to you from the outside if you're looking at this hobby business. But then when you dig into it, you realize they have no plan or strategy to make money, to be profitable, and to pay the person that is working for the business. Usually it's the solo business owner or that person plus a couple of employees or contractors. The other thing that businesses do that hobbies do not is businesses aim to be profitable. And this can get a little bit in the weeds, because there are several businesses that make money but that are not profitable. There are also several businesses that make money that do not pay their key employee, which is generally the business owner. And that to me is problematic as well, for a lot of reasons, a lot of that I've already mentioned, but also just the idea that if you are the main employee of your business, if you are creating the value, the most of the value for your business, you should be getting paid by your business. And most people, again, are not giving themselves a regular paycheck, and they're really just taking draws, if they're taking draws at all, from their business bank account. The profit aspect, the idea that businesses versus hobbies, businesses are aiming to make profit, that really gets differentiated into the difference between healthy businesses and not healthy businesses. Because the healthy businesses are going to see the purpose and the potential for profit, and they're going to aim for that, and they're going to figure out what they can do to make profit. Because if you look at any sort of business structure and any sort of what makes a successful business, why would people trust and invest in this business, if you think of from an investor's perspective, or just think about Shark Tank, they're always wondering, what's the profit margin? How are you making money? And also, how are you using any cash on hand to A, pay me, the investor, but also B, reinvest in your business to allow yourself to reinvent yourself so that you can continue to compete with your inevitable competitors that are going to come along. So for online coaches specifically, which is who I work with, you're probably thinking it'd be nice to get some sort of bonus. I am the main owner of my business. Maybe you have a business partner, and so you together as the owners, you are the key shareholders. You are investors in your business. And if you're not investing money, which I bet you are, but if you're not, you're at the very minimum investing a shit ton of your time. And so you deserve to be compensated for that, not just from your salary. Your salary is the value exchange of what is the value from the work that you are doing. And you can really easily break that down just by saying, okay, well, the value is really going to be a percentage of the overall revenue that we create because I'm in charge of creating the revenue, and the value that I can see going towards me versus what would be a good, what is the breakdown for the expenses on this revenue, and then profit and taxes and otherwise. If you're looking at the breakdown of revenue on you, you're going to take the value from the revenue that you create, and it's just the value exchange of what is it worth for the work that you're doing. Not your worth, that's a whole nother discussion, but the work that you are doing, what is that worth? And so as an example, if you are a business partner and then you have a secondary business partner, you are each maybe doing work in the business, or maybe the secondary business partner is just the investor. And so they don't do any work. So they are not getting a salary. They're just getting a profit distribution, or what you might think, if you think in investing terms, they're getting a dividend and a payout on the shares that they've bought to invest in your business. Now, you've bought shares, whether it's from time or money, in your business. And so if you're 50-50 equal, you're going to get 50% of the profits from your business. And you're also getting a salary because you're also working as a full-time or part-time employee of your business, whereas the business partner may not be. And so they will not get a salary, but you do. So when you're thinking about investors, though, they are really looking to get profit from your business. And you, as well as the owner and probably the number one shareholder of your business, should also be looking to get a profit. If not for rewarding you for your time, which I am very staunchly, in favor of. I think you deserve it, and you should very much take money out of your business so that you can save for other things that aren't your business. Another thing we'll talk about later. If not for that, then to have profit and extra cash on hand so that A, you can reinvest for, getting new education, maybe getting a certification, maybe hiring a coach for the success of your business, and B, so that you can have extra cash on hand in case something happens and you can't work for the next couple months, and you still want to be able to maintain, whether you have employees or you're paying for business bills that are coming due on a monthly or an annual basis just during that time. And you also want to make sure that you as a person are taken care of from your business too. And it can do that by looking at that extra cash on hand, which is really only being able to be held in terms of profit. So that's a lot of stuff that we can go down a deeper rabbit hole, and we do in the Payday Party, because as part of taking a paycheck, there's not just your regular paycheck that comes out, but also that profit distribution, and I break it down in the Payday Party. But I wanted to make the case for what the difference is between a hobby business and a business, and then between just a regular business, someone trying to force it to work and go, and a healthy, sustainable business. And that healthy, sustainable business is not only making sure that they're making money and they are exchanging value, so their services for that money, but they're also making a profit in their business. Now, the next thing I wanted to really touch on is the differential indicator between a business owner and a philanthropist. And the only reason I want to make this case is because there are so many business owners that are just running their business as a philanthropic venture. And that's because they're not, again, taking a paycheck. Now, the business owner, the true business owner, they make money. And that is because they need to be supported by their business. Their business has to pay them. So they are, their job is to run the business and to get paid, whether that is through a profit distribution. Going back to the two partners, the second partner who doesn't actually work for the business but is an investor, they're still getting a profit distribution. So they're still making money. The other business owner who is an investor but also is a full-time employee of their business, they're getting paid through a salary and through a profit distribution, and that is supporting their life. On the contrary, there's the philanthropist who essentially volunteers their time, and sometimes they volunteer their money. So they make investments, but without any expectation of getting a return from that investment other than, good clout and vibes and whatnot. And of course, knowing that you've made an impact, but you're doing it for free because you are investing your time and money. You're not even doing it for free. You're doing it knowing that you're putting stuff on the line and not expecting a return, which is a great place to be in if you can do that. But these people are typically supported by some other thing, whether that is, family money or a spouse or a full-time job that they have. And then they also have kind of the freedom in addition to that income to go and invest their time and money into the philanthropy of their choice. Now, the important thing is if you want to be a business owner, if you want to build a business, you need to make money, you need to aim for profitability, you also need to pay yourself because you need to support yourself. And of course, there are business owners, I've already mentioned this, that have their full-time jobs in the traditionally employed sector, or they are supported by their partner, or they're supported by their family, and that's great, but there's most likely the goal to, if you're getting money from other avenues, that's awesome, but let's have that be the fun money. If you have your full-time job, your business really takes off, you might be interested in taking your business full-time, and then obviously you would need to shift and tip the scales so that you're getting supported by your business. And if all else fails, if you don't need that money, you at least need those profit distributions, and you can choose what to do with those. Because you are most likely the catalyst for how your business is growing and scaling. You are putting the most time, the most effort, the most, human development. You're putting yourself out into the world to grow and develop and be probably very uncomfortable in certain situations. You need to make money from your business as that exchange. So I want you to just to take away from this, imagine the amount of money that you were first hoping to make in order to support some sort of lifestyle that you were hoping to live when you were thinking about building this business in the first place. So many people have an idea. If they don't have an amount of money, they at least have the lifestyle. And look at that, and then look at your current lifestyle or your current amount of money that you're making, and decide if you have shrunk your income goal or your lifestyle goal to fit within the confines of the business that you have built to date. So many of us do that, and that is what makes it very hard for us to grow beyond that, because we get to a point where our business is making money and then maybe we're able to take some money out of it, but our business can very easily take over the lifestyle that we originally wanted to create. And so then that lifestyle gets adjusted downwards. It gets shrunken into whatever box it can fit in so that our business can continue to survive. And we no longer think about what was it that we originally set out to create, that we originally set out to build for ourselves, and then have the business be the catalyst and the income producer for that. This is something that's super close to my heart because it's something that I've personally done. I've had these ideas for a specific lifestyle I wanted to live, specific amounts of money that I wanted to live, but then I go back to the comfort of, well, where's my business at right now and what is realistic for my business? And then I set my income goals based on that. And that can be very dangerous because those income goals are nowhere near the income goals that I originally set out. But what I've done is I've let my business determine what my new income goals are based on what my business has done in the past. And now I'm not pushing the boundaries. I'm not, putting myself in the discomfort, which is really where growth happens, to move towards the income goals that I've always wanted and dreamed about. And now I'm letting that business, again, define my dreams, define the box that my dreams get to live within. So that's really important to do, to step out of that box and go, okay, if my business didn't exist, what would I like? Think back to the time when you were dreaming up the business in the first place and imagining what life would be like. And that will kind of get you out of, if you are in the minutia of, just taking draws in order to pay for certain bills and kind of living in the chasing after money versus letting money come into your life and you deciding, what am I going to do with this? And that's what you can do if you do implement a system and a process to pay yourself a regular amount. The question is, when's the right time to do it? How do you interrupt your current financial system that's probably not working very well for you? And how much? And we do all of that in the Payday Party. So join us, wonderwealthy.com/party. We kick off on August 26th. Okay. So the last point I wanted to make in terms of the practical is this idea that your business cannot help you achieve your personal goals. And so many of us think it can. And of course, if your dream is to travel the world and then your business takes you around the world because you become, a public speaker or a world-renowned coach, those are some personal goals. But we want to live a life beyond our business. We want to make an impact beyond what is there. And there are so many things that you will not be able to do if your business is never paying you, whether it's in profit or it's in a paycheck. Because then the only time you're taking money out of your business is to cover kind of last minute things, to pay down the bills, to pay down the debt, to cover those things that you totally forgot about, or to cover that fun shopping spree. Or maybe you took a trip and that's been a big goal, but now your business has to cover it, versus saving up for bigger things that you've always wanted, but you haven't been able to do that potentially because you're still trying to figure out how to get your business to paying you a regular paycheck, but you haven't seen that that's really important. And this is why it's important. So you can have money, not only to budget for how to spend your money, which I'm a big, big fan of. Spend your money. I think we all need to spend a little bit more money, especially if you've been listening to my podcast for a while and you're super in the saving mentality. Spending money is just as healthy as saving money. And there's so much more to that. But being able to have a paycheck to budget for spending is just the start. We also want to be able to have that paycheck so we can start saving for the things that we want. That, obviously take a little bit more time to build up to, like buying a house or buying a car or buying the trip of your lifetime that you can't just put on a credit card, which I wouldn't advise putting any sort of trip on a credit card unless you already have the money to pay it off, which if you have to dig it out of your business, technically means you don't have the money to pay it off unless it's a business expense in which you've been saving for it within your business, but that's a whole nother story. But on top of that, you also need to save for retirement and old age. And a lot of people, this is probably a topic for an entirely other podcast, but as a quick summary, a lot of people think that their business is their retirement plan. But honey, there are so many things that could happen between now and retirement. Maybe you start hating your business. Maybe shit hits the fan. Maybe you have someone sick that you have to take care of. Maybe you do build a really awesome business, but it doesn't sell for the amount of money you thought. And now you are too late to start saving money for retirement because 30 years have gone by. There are so many things that can happen that we cannot just rely on our business to be our retirement plan. It could be part of it. And maybe you're going to work until you die, but we don't know. And we need to secure the bag for those times when we do not know what could happen. We can be risky. We can be manifestors. We can live in this world of abundance and believing that abundance is there, but we also need to be smart and be good money citizens of the world too. Okay, so let's move into the last piece, which is getting more into the woo. Excuse me. And really understanding the idea that your business needs to pay you for more than just the idea that you have goals that you want to achieve on a personal level. You need to be able to budget. You deserve it from, all the time and energy and money you've invested in your business. Those are all great. Those are all very practical, tangible things you can grasp onto. But the other thing is, and the other reason your business needs to pay you is because if you look at your goals and you look at where you want to be, going back to those money goals maybe that you wrote down, or at least the lifestyle that you had mapped out for yourself when you first started, or maybe you just did it again because you've realized you've been, your dreams have been put in the box that fits within the confines of what your business can support. And now you're stepping out of that box and you're going, okay, let's dream a little bit again. Let's slow this down. And you've done that, but now you're going, how the heck am I going to get from here to being able to have a paycheck and being able to have a paycheck that supports this lifestyle that is way outside of that dream box that I was confining myself to? And here's the thing. What you need to do is wedge some financial boundaries into your business before you think you're ready. And now, even if you think my business cannot handle that, what I'm saying is you need to pay yourself now, and you need to figure out what is it going to be. I would do a percentage of revenue because dollar amounts often in the fluctuating world we live in don't work as well. They still work if you have a fixed dollar amount, but generally percentages are much more easier to adjust with. But what you're going to do is you're going to decide, I'm not going to wait until I have the money in my business to pay myself. Because here's the secret. I'm not some person that's like, go buy that Gucci bag and just put it on a credit card and believe that you will have the money to pay it off. In some cases that might work, but I can't, as a wealth coach as well as a mindset coach, in, good grace and good knowledge, say, go do that. So I'm not telling you that you should pay yourself, the $10,000 in personal pay per month that you've always wanted, because if your business doesn't have it, that's not going to work, right? But I want you to make the commitment that you're going to start paying yourself, and you're going to start paying yourself regularly. And if you can do a fixed dollar amount, you can, but you could also just say, okay, next month, I'm going to take 50% of my revenue and I'm going to pay that out to myself as a regular paycheck. And I'm going to do it on the 25th of the month. And that's going to be my payday party. And there's potentially more details that we need to work in there, which is why I highly recommend signing up for the Payday Party workshop, wanderwealthy.com/party. But you can commit to that. And this is what happens when you commit to that. First of all, from a very practical aspect, you're taking your business and you're saying, all right, buddy, we're going on a budget now. Because if you're taking 50% of your revenue out of your business, that means the other 50% needs to cover taxes. Potentially, you're going to start putting money away for profit. But also you have expenses that you still have to cover. And up until this point, we've been letting our business decide what expenses it's paying for and then giving ourselves the leftovers. And we decided, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to give myself the money I need and my business can have the leftovers. Because here's what's really cool. Your business is really hella flexible, especially if it's an online business, which most of you who are online coaches or online service-based entrepreneurs have. So in a lot of ways, we get way in over our heads and get super obsessed with all the different things, bells and whistles we can add to our business. But we can really look at a list of expenses and go, don't need that. That's not producing ROI. This I didn't even remember that I was still paying for. And we can start looking at what is absolutely necessary to the success and the revenue that I'm making in my business, and fit your business within the confines of itself, but pay yourself finally, so that you can start doing this thing that I like to call, well, it's not, I didn't name it, but it's a mindset aspect, perspective, methodology of living through be, do, have, in that order. So what is be, do, have? It is literally those words, be, do, have. So many of us believe that we have to have something before we can be something. And even before we can do something. We're like, I have to have the $1 million before I can really be a $1 million business owner. I have to have the $1 million before I can buy, this thing, this Gucci bag. Let's go back to the Gucci bag. Before I can buy this Gucci bag. Or before I can have confidence in my services, in myself. Or I have to have 100 clients and a fully packed coaching schedule before I can be a successful coach, or before I can have the wherewithal to do Facebook Lives, or before I can have, again, confidence in my business. And this is so backwards, because so many of us then are constantly living in the chase of, I need to have things before I can do certain things and before I can be a certain way. When instead, we can actually be that $1 million business owner. Even if we don't have $1 million, we can be that person. We can identify what are the qualities, what are the things this business owner, this $1 million business owner thinks about, what are the things that they believe in, what are the things that they do, and we can embody that. And then we can start doing the things that we are, doing, taking our behavior from our new identity of this $1 million business owner. We can start doing things that are in alignment with that. And then that's how we have the $1 million business, because we're actually embodying, how does this person act? Get yourself out of the, $3K a month business owner and put yourself in, I don't even know, $88,000 a month business owner mentality. They obviously think about things differently. They obviously do things differently. They obviously have very different behaviors and attitudes and personality and even demeanor. But that is also how they've gotten their results. If you think back to the model of all the results you've ever gotten in your life, the model working backwards is the results we get is because of the actions we've taken, right? That's obvious. So the results we've gotten in our life are because of actions we've taken. We take actions based on feelings or emotions and just kind of like the attitude that we're in the day. If I don't feel like working out and I'm feeling like a fat slob, I'm more likely to say, I'm just too tired and too lazy and I just don't want to work out today. But if I'm feeling good about myself and I'm feeling like, dang, I am fit and I'm happy and I'm, confident, then working out is such an easier thing to do. And that's ultimately, if I can feel that feeling pretty consistently, then I'm going to get the results because I'm going to actually do the doing of the working out, which will get me the results. And back that up to, how do we feel things? We create feelings from the thoughts in our head. And the thoughts in our head are essentially the identity that we're choosing to take on. Our identity is built from our thoughts that are just repeated over and over again. And then we form beliefs about who we are. And then we obviously feel a certain way because of those beliefs and those thoughts. And then we can act through them and get our results. Be, do, have is essentially the same thing, just more simplified and really applied to, you want to have the $1 million business? Well, are you being the $1 million business owner? Or are you saying, I can't be the $1 million business owner until I have the $1 million business? And it is backwards if you're operating that way, okay? Because you are not going to wait anymore to have the business that is able to pay you a paycheck. It might not be ready to pay you the paycheck that you've been dreaming of, but we got to start somewhere. And if you can start taking money from your business in a form of a paycheck, now, first and foremost, your business has an entirely new system, operating system that it's working from, that I guarantee you is a much more healthy and sustainable operating system, because now it's paying you, it's covering other costs and expenses, and it's working within the confines of the money that it has for the business expenses. So you're no longer being a slave to your business. Maybe your business's expenses are, being confined to what your business can afford. But you as a business owner are no longer being confined to that. And it might still not feel like, I have all the money I've wanted, but you have way more on a regular basis than you had before. And that's the start. That's just the starting point of being the business owner that makes a regular paycheck from their business, that takes profit distributions from their business, that is actually able to invest in retirement or other savings outside of their business, outside of what they think their business needs. And that is really powerful because now you've tweaked your identity to that type of business owner. And then you get to do the things that that type of business owner does. So now you can focus on, well, hey, I'm already making money for my business, so I don't have to chase down money anymore because I have money coming in at a predictable rate. So now I get to just, pay for these bills, and then I can do the other things that this type of business owner who actually makes a paycheck does. And I can start doing the things that I need to do to get me to that next level goal. And maybe that next level goal is that ultimate lifestyle that you've dreamed of, or maybe it's just one tier up. And then the tier 3 is your, ultimate lifestyle goal. However that breaks down, but you get to start focusing on the doing, that the identity that you have now assumed from the being, you get to focus on the doing now of what does this type of person do? Instead of the person I was being, last week before I listened to this podcast and before I went through the Payday Party workshop, the person I was being last week was chasing down things and stressing about things that this person that I am now doesn't have to do anymore and doesn't have to stress about anymore. So I get to do the other things that take me to the next level. And then ultimately I can have that $1 million business that I've been pursuing because I decided to be that business owner now. So we're going to drive a wedge. We're going to drive some financial boundary wedges into your business. And you can do that by defining, okay, from a percentage basis only, what do I want to take from my business in terms of a paycheck? And there's other percentages I recommend to put in place for your business to create a really, truly healthy, sustainable place. But this is a really great place to start. And if you want to dive more into the work and you want to really, truly embody the being and then the doing and then the having, you can sign up for the Payday Party. Go to wonderwealthy.com/party. Check it out or just sign right up. You guys, it's only $42 and we get to meet for an entire week. Actually, it's a little longer than a week. You get access to me as a coach. If you can't attend the calls live, the calls will be taking place at 9 or 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you can't attend them live, that's totally cool. Watch the replays and then submit your questions. And each class is going to be about an hour long. I'm going to try to keep it to an hour or less so that we can make sure that, it is concise. I know that your time is precious, but each class will be about an hour long. You can watch that. If you attend live, you can ask your questions right then and there, get a chance to be coached by me, and really learn how to embody the money mindset work to totally change and shift your personal money story so that you can be the person you want to be with money, so you can ultimately do the things you want to do and have what you want to have. So that's in one aspect the be do have, but also implement some of these systems, drive some financial boundary wedges into your business and see that you can start paying yourself on a regular basis. And you can actually look forward to some of the money management systems and aspects of running your business in the future. And you can have your own payday party. So 4 live classes, an hour each, opportunities to be live coached by me or to submit your questions and I can address them on a later date. You're also going to get access to my financial dashboard, a piece of it that I provide to my clients that gets you really detailed in setting very specific money goals, from your income goals to overarching business revenue goals, and then how you can break that down to determine what those percentages are going to be for you so you can start, again, driving those financial boundary wedges into your business and saying, no, now is the day that I take ownership of my business. I start paying myself. I don't leave myself the leftovers. Stop leaving yourself the leftovers. I see way too many business owners doing this, and you do not deserve that. You deserve so much more, babe. So that is what I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode number 121 of the Wander Wealthy podcast. Remember, go to wanderwealthy.com/party to check out the Payday Party. And if you want to access the show notes of today, you can go to wanderwealthypodcast.com/podcast/episode 121. And until next time, my babes, I hope you wander wealthy.